When I opened my eyes again, I was back 5 hours before the typhoon hit. This time, I moved out on my own. They praised me for being sensible and understanding. But they didn't know, this house would soon collapse into rubble. Hello everyone. Welcome to Empress Revenge Stories. Let's begin. Before the super typhoon hit, my parents kicked me out of the house. Their reason? They were worried there wouldn't be enough food, with one more mouth to feed. My brothers, sisters-in-law, and nephews would go hungry. I was swept away by the typhoon and smashed to death on the street. I hadn't even had time to claim the 10 million yuan lottery ticket I'd just won. When I opened my eyes again, I was back 5 hours before the typhoon hit. Before they could kick me out, I offered to leave on my own. My parents praised me for being mature. My brothers and sisters-in-law said I was sensible, and my nephews called me an idiot. But they didn't know that when the typhoon hit, the house they lived in would collapse into a pile of rubble. When I opened my eyes, I found myself lying intact on my familiar single bed. The searing pain in my body was suddenly gone. Realizing I had been reborn, I quickly reached into the hidden compartment of my bag. Thankfully, the lottery ticket I'd hidden was still there. I clutched it, crying tears of joy, as the tragic scenes of my past life flooded back. The weather forecast said the super typhoon would make landfall at 7 p.m. off the coast near my town. That afternoon, my parents suddenly told me to go to the countryside, a 4-hour drive away, to look after my grandparents. 1. Because typhoons were unpredictable, and I'd be traveling during the storm, which was extremely dangerous. I refused. Under pressure, my mother finally admitted the truth. She and my father were afraid there wouldn't be enough food stored up if the typhoon cut off supplies. My brothers, sisters-in-law, and nephews would go hungry. I couldn't believe it. The night before, after receiving my mother's urgent plea for supplies, I had woken up early, bought plenty of vegetables, meat, and fruit in the city, and taken a 2-hour bus ride to deliver them. That morning, when they accepted the supplies, everyone had been all smiles, but then they turned around and said it wasn't enough, and they needed me to leave. No matter how much I begged, they wouldn't budge, even when I promised to drink only water and eat nothing for days. Not competing with my brothers, sisters-in-law, or nephews for food, they still took advantage of my distraction, shoved me out the door, and slammed it shut. I pounded on it until my hands were swollen, screamed until my voice was hoarse, but no one opened it. The last thing I heard was my father's voice. Life and death are fated. Fortune and misfortune are in heaven's hands. They knew perfectly well that no cars would be on the street. They knew what would happen to me if I was left homeless when the typhoon hit. Having died once, I finally understood. This family was full of ungrateful wolves, not worth a single ounce of my sincerity. Later, in the unprecedented terror of the storm, I was swept dozens of meters into the air, slammed into a coconut tree, and then crashed back down to the ground. My limbs torn apart. I died a miserable death. But soon after, as I floated above, I watched the self-built house where my whole family lived collapse into rubble in the typhoon. Only then did I finally close my eyes in peace. Karma had its way. Thinking of this, I quickly checked the time. There were less than 5 hours until the typhoon would hit. Just as in my past life, I decided to leave this dangerous house immediately, even if they weren't kicking me out. I didn't want to die with them. I packed my lottery ticket, ID, bank cards, and a few changes of clothes into a backpack and walked out the door. My parents, brothers, and sisters-in-law were all there. "I'm going out," I announced. My sudden appearance silenced the room. I pretended not to know they'd just been discussing how to get rid of me. Nan, didn't you say you were tired? The typhoon's coming tonight. Why are you going out now?" My mother asked. Surprised, I smiled. Grandma and Grandpa said they weren't feeling well yesterday. Since the typhoon's coming, I thought I'd go stay with them in the countryside for a couple of days. Everyone relaxed. My eldest sister-in-law, always suspicious, asked, "Aren't you afraid of running into the typhoon halfway?" My eldest nephew, Lu Yaozu, didn't even look up from his game and muttered, "Idiot." No one said a word. As usual, I pretended not to hear and explained, "It's still early. There are so many of us here. I'm worried we won't have enough food and water. There's nowhere to buy anything now. If I go to Grandma and Grandpa's, there are fewer mouths to feed, and everyone will have a bit more." At that, Their faces brightened. My mother even took my hand, smiling. Nan Nan, you're so thoughtful. My father took a drag on his cigarette and nodded. Raised you for this long, today. You've finally shown some sense. Only my second sister-in-law snorted, muttering just loud enough for my second brother to hear. She's always been an outsider. Good riddance. I ignored her and turned to my eldest brother. Brother, can I borrow your minivan? There won't be any buses now. My eldest sister-in-law's face immediately darkened. I quickly added, oh, and I heard Uncle's orchard had a good harvest. And the pigs are almost ready. I just got my bonus, so I can bring back plenty of fruit and meat for everyone. Her expression softened, and my eldest brother handed me the keys with a grin. If my sister needs the car, of course. Don't worry about the fruit, get more meat. Fill the car. Just don't overload it. The cost. I nodded eagerly. As I passed the stairwell, I picked up the dog cage. Yaozu finally looked up from his game and shouted, "Stop. Don't take that stupid dog." My second nephew, Yaozong, ran over and shoved me, trying to grab the cage. "That's our dog. If you take it, I'll tell Grandpa to beat you." My fourth brother, absorbed in his card game, glanced up. "Little sis, leave Laikai behind. We can have dog meat hot pot when the typhoon hits." Laikai seemed to understand, scratching at the cage and whimpering. I felt a chill run through me, but I kept my cool and lied. "You all refused to pay for his shots. If you eat him, you might get rabies. Besides, it's wasteful to feed a dog during a typhoon. Let me take him to Grandma and Grandpa's to guard the house. It'll save you the burden." For once, my second sister-in-law agreed. Yes, take the stinking dog. I think he's got fleas. Yaozong's been itching all over. She held back her son and urged me to leave. Yaozu, furious that Yaozong was stopped, lunged at me. My mother and eldest sister-in-law scrambled to hold him back. "For heaven's sake, that mangy mutt, keep him or you'll catch some disease." My eldest sister-in-law cursed. My mother added, Nan Nan, once you take that dog, don't ever bring him back. Too many germs." In the chaos, I slipped out with Laikai. As I left, Yaozong yelled after me, "Idiot! You and that dead dog will get blown away." Haha, the little brat nearly made me explode. But as I looked back at the house, my anger miraculously vanished. I even gave Yaozong a meaningful smile. "I hope you can still be that cocky when the typhoon hits." In the car, I opened the cage and stroked Lightsai's head. "You're not a mangy dog. Laikai, you're the best dog in the world." He seemed to know we were escaping, his eyes bright with anticipation. He was the only one in that house who truly cared about me. In my past life, when I was begging outside, Laikai had barked frantically inside, trying to get someone to open the door. Yaozu and Yaozong kicked him half to death and even burned him with a lighter. Despite his injuries, Laikai had jumped from the second-floor balcony to come find me, limping. Later, the typhoon swept him away too. This time, I wouldn't abandon him. We sped toward the city in the beat-up van. I wasn't going to the countryside. Not only was it dangerous and far, but their tiny house probably couldn't withstand the storm anyway. My father always boasted about being the eldest grandson, but when it came to protecting his parents, he wanted to outsource it to me, the granddaughter he despised. What a joke. I had 4 brothers, but they were useless. We reached the city in 2 hours. Before the typhoon, it was sweltering and still, with an eerie purple-red sky. The airport and high-speed rail were shut down. There was no way to leave. I didn't go back to my school dormitory. Instead, I checked into a pet-friendly 5-star hotel with my credit card, booking a week's stay. The hotel was famous for surviving major disasters and had won global awards. It was nestled against a mountain, far from the sea, making it one of the safest places in the city. I specifically asked for a low-floor suite for more security. No one knew the typhoon's power better than I did. I paid top dollar for a courier to stock up on food, water, and supplies for me and Laikai. Once the typhoon passed, I could claim the lottery winnings. With that secured, I took a long bath, washed Laikai, filled the bathtub with water, and charged all 10 power banks. Outside, the wind was starting to bend the trees, and debris flew through the air. Dark clouds rolled in against a strange, glowing sky, the calm before the storm. No one was on the streets. I held Laikai, charging my phone, scrolling. Strangely, This was the most peaceful I'd felt in a long time. Living in that family had always been suffocating. My mother always insisted they weren't sexist, after all. She could have aborted me, but my father once drunkenly revealed the truth. I was an accident. A fortune teller had said he'd have 5 sons and strike it rich. But the ultrasounds were wrong. That's why they named me Nan, to remind me I'd always owe them a son. It was absurd. My life was a joke. I'd never had the courage to confront them. So I just distanced myself. But in the typhoon, the people I loved pushed me out without hesitation. Now I understood, if I couldn't earn their love, I didn't want it. I fell asleep on the couch and was woken by my phone ringing. It was my father. "You've been gone 4 hours, still not at your grandparents'. They're waiting for you to cook. Stop dawdling." I lied. I stopped for gas and some food. "Almost there." He grunted. "Fine. Eat less while you're there. Respect the elders if they scold you. Don't talk back." I agreed, smirking. Then I checked the home security app. My parents ran a small fishery. They weren't poor. They'd built a 5-story house, 1 floor for each brother. While I shared the ground floor with my parents, I'd paid for the cameras, and everyone's phones could view them. The brothers spent most of their time gambling. As expected, they were playing mahjong and cards. I switched to the weather radar, watching the typhoon's path. It was moving faster and growing stronger. My family never checked the news. They preferred gambling, games, and mindless videos. If they'd paid attention, they might have been more cautious. But that wasn't my problem. I ordered seafood from the hotel. Half an hour later, a robot delivered it. Just as I was about to eat, my mother called. I took a bite of salmon while she ranted. Nan, your grandparents say you're not there. Tell me the truth, are you even going? If you don't want to, you could have just said so." I swallowed. "No, I just took a wrong turn. I'm on my way now." She hesitated. "Well, since you're already out, could you come home first? There's something we need." "I'm almost there. If I turn back now, I'll hit the typhoon." Silence. Then she repeated, "Just come back. You have time, the typhoon won't hit for another 2.5 hours. I sighed. "What's so urgent?" She paused. "Your third sister-in-law wants some lemon chicken feet from Wang's in town." I was speechless, mostly because I was chewing crab. "She's pregnant and picky. She won't eat anything else." My third brother grabbed the phone. "Just get her some. It's not far." I spat out crab shell. "Why don't you go? It's a 10-minute walk." "She's carrying my child." He snapped. "What if I get blown away?" So I was the expendable one. I hung up. He kept calling, but I ignored him. When I finished dinner, it was 5 o'clock. The typhoon should have hit the town by now. Even in my solid hotel room, I could hear the terrifying wind outside. Through the window, I saw debris flying everywhere. I opened the security feed. The house was a mess. The glass was shaking violently, and furniture was sliding. The top floor was leaking. But my brothers were still playing cards. My father was sweeping water from the front door and cursing. That ungrateful girl. She didn't go to her grandparents or get the chicken feet. She probably went back to her dorm to hide. My eldest sister-in-law suddenly froze. Wait, she's not answering her phone. What if she got caught in the storm? My mother looked worried too. At the break, everyone came to the main room. My second sister-in-law said, "She's got a car, she can find shelter." My father grumbled, "She's just throwing a tantrum. She'll never get married with that attitude." My mother helped my third sister-in-law, who rubbed her belly and said, "I'm just worried, we've raised her for over 20 years. And if she dies now, we lose out on the bride price." My third sister-in-law smirked. "Doesn't have to be a living bride. Remember the richest family in town. Their son died, they're looking for a ghost marriage. They're offering this much." She held up 7 fingers. 7,000. No, 7 figures. Everyone gasped. My second sister-in-law chimed in. "Wow, rich people are different. That's way more than a living bride's price. And you'd get in-laws with money." My third brother agreed. "Yeah, it'd be better than her teaching job, working herself to death for pennies." I was stunned. I'd thought they kicked me out of selfishness. But this was far worse. The food shortage was just an excuse. They'd planned from the start to get rid of me during the typhoon, hoping I'd die so they could cash in 1,000,000 yuan for my corpse. A dead girl was worth more than a live one. They wanted me dead. This was murder. The family had lost its mind, and I felt nothing but cold satisfaction. I kept watching. They were already counting the money. My eldest sister-in-law dreamed of sending Yaozu and Yaozong to a better school. My second sister-in-law wanted a new car. My third sister-in-law wanted a luxury maternity center. My mother nodded. The fishery will lose money in the storm anyway. This will cover the fourth son's bride price. I couldn't watch anymore. Like I whimpered. Sensing my distress, I held him and told myself, it won't be long now. But soon my phone buzzed again, my mother calling. I answered. She sounded genuinely scared. Nan, where are you? Can you come back? We've lost power and water. The kids' tablets are dead. Can you bring some power banks? I almost laughed. They wanted me to deliver in a typhoon, like I had superpowers. Pretending to cry, I said, Mom, I was coming back with the chicken feet, but the storm hit, the car's stuck. Someone come get me. It's terrifying. There's stuff flying everywhere. They paused. You were coming back. Is the car okay? For now. I found shelter, but it won't last. Please come help, I have power banks. I begged. My second sister-in-law took the phone. Send your location. We'll figure something out. I sent a fake highway location. I heard them whispering in the background. They were worried about finding my body. Not saving me. I screamed, pretending to be hit by debris, and hung up. They kept calling, but I ignored them. My mother flooded the family chat with voice messages, getting more panicked. Nan, the glass is shaking. Nan, come help us. Nan, there's water everywhere. We're moving to the second floor. Nan, bring food, the kids are hungry. Other relatives jumped in, horrified. She went out in this. Are you insane? I replied. Don't worry, I'm on my way to care for Grandpa and Grandma. They scolded my parents for sending me out alone. My parents made excuses. She offered. She insisted. We told her to come back. But she wouldn't. The relatives backed off, just telling me to stay safe. I sent one more message. Don't worry, I found a way to avoid the storm. I'll be home soon with supplies. The chat went quiet. They were probably disappointed I wasn't dead. My second sister-in-law finally typed. Good. You're safe. I could almost feel her frustration. It made me laugh. The calls kept coming. My mother was desperate, not acting anymore. Nan, forget the food. Just come get us. The roof is almost gone. Your fourth brother's arm is broken, he needs a hospital. Please. I thought. Why should I help? He didn't care when I was swept away. I didn't reply. The windows were rattling. The storm was even worse there. My father joined in. Where are you? Are you just going to watch us die? I sent a location near the house and said, on my way. My mother replied instantly. Hurry. The roof is gone. Yaozong is hurt. I calmly ate a kiwi. In the background, I heard Yaozong crying and my eldest sister-in-law screaming. The balcony fell. Then the call cut out. I checked the time. In my past life, the house collapsed around now. The foundation was giving way, the walls were cracking. I wondered if my 5 sons, and their crown prince, children were still dreaming of my million-yuan death money. Then my mother video called me. I answered. She screamed. Where are you? Your third sister-in-law is in pain. The house is shaking, will we die? She was crying, but hadn't noticed my background. Her sisters-in-law saw it and yelled. She's not coming back. She's in a nice, safe hotel. I played along. See, even my glass is shaking. Oh, it's dark. Must be a power cut. This hotel is great. And Laikai is here, say hi. Laikai. My father lost it. How dare you laugh? You treat a dog better than us. Why won't you save us? I shot back. Who here has treated me better than Laikai? You kicked me out in a typhoon, have you forgotten? My sisters-in-law were furious. My father gave me an ultimatum. Come get us now, or you're no daughter of mine. I laughed. I've had enough of being a daughter. You have sons, let them handle it. The camera wobbled. My mother's terrified face filled the screen. How can you be so heartless? You'll go to hell. I smiled. Didn't Dad say life and death are fate? And didn't you always say a daughter can't take care of her mother? I'm just a girl, what can I do? I never heard from them again. The video cut out with a deafening crash and screams. The house must have collapsed. I put my phone on airplane mode and watched the storm with Laikai. A day and a night passed. The worst of the typhoon was over. But the floods, collapses, and destruction were everywhere. Trees were uprooted, buildings destroyed, power and water were out for days. Countless people lost their livelihoods, their homes, their loved ones. Nature had shown us how small we are. I was lucky to be reborn, and to have won the lottery. 3 days later, I went back to my dorm to get clothes. Then the hospital called. My family was in emergency care. I went to confirm. At the ER, I heard my mother and eldest sister-in-law wailing. My heart sank. Had the house actually collapsed? I stood still for a moment, then walked over. My mother was crying with Yaozu, all of them battered and broken. When she saw me, she lunged, ready to slap me, but forgot her arm was in a cast, and screamed in pain. My sister-in-law spat at me. Shameless. How dare you show your face? My mother collapsed, sobbing to the crowd. 25 years I raised that ungrateful snake. When the typhoon hit, she hid in a hotel and left us to die. 3 of my sons are dead. My youngest lost an arm. My daughter-in-law and grandson are gone. Another miscarried. My mother-in-law drowned. My husband is paralyzed. Why weren't you the one to die? The passers-by were horrified. They pitied her, and glared at me with disgust. I stood there, expressionless. I knew the survivors. My parents, eldest sister-in-law, third sister-in-law, fourth brother, and Yaozu, all badly injured. The doctor tried to calm her down. I looked like the villain. I raised my voice. Do you think I control the typhoon? Did I make the house collapse? Didn't you all agree to kick me out? You said you couldn't afford to feed me. I left to find safety. What did I do wrong? The crowd faltered. I was just a young woman. How could I be responsible for so much destruction? My sister-in-law accused me of lying. So you were safe the whole time. You tricked us into thinking you'd come back. I shot back. You knew no one could drive in that storm. Yet you demanded I bring food and power banks. And you wanted me dead, don't deny it. She stammered. The crowd murmured. Natural disasters weren't anyone's fault. It was cruel to blame one person. Then the doctors came out. Patient Lu Dolly's legs couldn't be saved, amputated. Patient Lu Gui's arm couldn't be saved, amputated. My mother fainted. My sister-in-law snarled. Get lost. As I turned to leave, a nurse asked for payment. My sister-in-law screamed. We have no money. The typhoon took everything. Ask her. But my elevator doors were already closing. They'd have to figure it out. I'd told them to buy insurance, but they'd rather gamble. I ignored them, blocked them all. I bought some plain clothes, and when the lottery office reopened, I quietly claimed my prize. I donated 50,000 to rural girls and 1 million in supplies to the hardest hit areas. I didn't want to buy a house. I wanted to study abroad and eventually settle somewhere I chose. I'd keep my money to myself. In my past life, I'd joked about winning the lottery. My mother said I'd have to split it, 1 share for her and my father, 1 for each brother. What about me? I asked. We raised you, it's only fair. I was disgusted, so I never told them. They didn't deserve the luck. A few days later, they came to my school to demand money. But I'd already quit. Teaching was never my dream. When the police tracked me down, I was in a new apartment, studying for the IELTS. They arrived in full force, my mother in a wheelchair, my sister-in-law dragging Yaozu, my fourth brother, my grandfather, my third sister-in-law with her phone recording everything. I opened the door. They stared at the apartment in disbelief. My father yelled, "Heartless. We're in ruins, and you're living in luxury." My mother demanded 20,000 for medical bills. The police intervened. We can't force anyone to pay. They accused me of abandonment, threatening to sue. My third sister-in-law smiled. This apartment must be worth millions. Why hide it? You could take care of the whole family. I laughed. I'm not your parent. I'll pay child support when you're 60, just the legal minimum. The police nodded, saw it was a family dispute, and left. My family tried to force their way in, but security arrived and kicked them out. I made sure they were banned from the building, but they were relentless. They started live streaming, playing the victims, using the tragedy to get donations. Their story of loss was so compelling, a family shattered by the typhoon, that they went viral. They got thousands in tips. They played both sides. She abandoned us, but we'll forgive her. We just want to see her again. The public was on their side. People in my neighborhood started gossiping. So I opened my own live stream. I told the whole truth, and played the recorded footage from that day. Everyone saw how they planned to sacrifice me for a ghost marriage. The public turned on them. Their channel was banned. Their money was frozen. They fled to my grandfather's old house in the countryside. But they couldn't escape the shame. My father and grandfather grew bitter, taking their anger out on the women. My third sister-in-law, blamed for suggesting the ghost marriage, tried to run away, but was killed in a car accident. My parents sent her corpse off for a ghost marriage anyway, demanding the dowry. Her family found out and trashed the old house. My grandfather died of a heart attack. None of it affected me. I was preparing for my studies, and the building was secure. The only incident: my fourth brother stole like I during a walk and demanded a 3 million ransom. I called the police immediately. He was sentenced to prison. In the end, I got into my dream school. With my lottery winnings, I could finish my studies and buy a small home somewhere I loved. My mother survived, but she'd spend the rest of her life caring for my paralyzed father, her traumatized grandson, and soon, her fourth son out of prison. Would she regret it? I don't know, but she chose her path. One day, my donation story was reported anonymously, but my mother recognized it. She got my number and called, weeping, asking why I hadn't helped them. She said she'd treat me fairly now. I asked, which home? The one where I lived in a storage room. She was silent. Later, I took like I, now Lucky, and went abroad. I changed my name to Lingyun, soaring above the clouds. I owed no one anything. I was free to rise. After listening to this story, what do you think? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Looking forward to hearing from you.